Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet. We've only got a few people on the call today, so I'm concerned that nobody put this in their calendar. Anyway, we're going to be talking about a couple of updates and going over the dashboard. So we're glad that you guys could join us, and we'll get rolling. Olivia, if you want to open up your screen and start into the dashboard.
Yeah. You will have to tell me which, I want to make sure the right monitor is showing, because last time.
I see the dashboard.
Perfect. Okay, let me zoom this in here a little bit.
But now I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to pull the screen up and make it big for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So first I'm just going to run through all the areas that we need to be monitoring, and then we're going to pause things and take it offline. And I'm going to take a deeper look at what we need from each of the offices. So first we have our enrolled dashboard, and we have a few rows on here that we need to make sure we're keeping an eye on. First, we have this referral pending 2151 past due. We have 7 customers who had their initial CBO appointment scheduled, and 48 hours have passed since that appointment date, and no 2151 has been uploaded, reflecting if the customer showed up or did not show up. Part of the DHS policy is that those forms are uploaded within 48 hours. If they are not uploaded within 48 hours, then DHS cannot put the customer through conciliation because the documentation was not uploaded and they were not notified in the timely manner they have laid out in their policy. So for customers you have in these rows, you're going to have to re-invite them. You're going to have to remove the initial appointment and set a new appointment for them, and then mail them a letter letting them know they have an appointment with you. So then you can get that 2151 uploaded again in the 48-hour time limit. So we have instructions on the website for going through that, and I went through it with most of you who do have customers in that row. You can always email the EPIC@ email if you have any questions, or give me a call. Our second row is the referral accepted, enrollment started, enrollment required. We have 29 customers in that row. I've worked with almost all of the CBOs who have customers in that row. It was at 69 at the beginning of the week, and we have gotten some of those customers enrolled. There are a couple customers who are still going through the assessment process before they do get accepted by that CBO, and that's perfectly fine for those customers to stay in this row until that happens. We just don't want customers to get built, like pile up in this row and have them not be enrolled and moved through the enrolled dashboard the way they should be. Once a customer has been accepted into your location and you know they're going to participate in training, you need to enroll them at that point in time. We don't wait until training starts. The way the progress page works is once you reach your numbers on enrollment by enrolling people on that progress page, we'll no longer show that in the eligibility review, so you don't overbook any of your training programs. So it's really important to get them enrolled as soon as possible. The enrollment on the progress page does not affect your benchmarks. That's all looked at in the Istep, so when you add the academic and training step in there and mark them as starting the class and doing all that, that is what we're looking at for the benchmark reports. So you're not going to hurt yourself or anything if you mark a customer as enrolled and they become ineligible or drop out prior to the training starting. Then our second row is the CBO needs to upload past due. We have 28 customers who still do not have their monthly upload for the last month, April. It is supposed to be uploaded between the 1st and the 5th of each month, and it's now the 24th. So we need these 28 customers to get their monthly upload ASAP. This needs to be done by the end of the week this week. And if you have any questions on those customers, feel free to email, call, whatever you prefer. And then something else I wanted to point out while we were going through the dashboard is we've made a few changes to the enrolled dashboard. You guys may have noticed or I may have already talked to you about it. But we used to have the no longer appropriate for provider services and DHS review recommend sanction up here in this section with the client progress. But we decided to break those out into their own separate section because these two require DHS action. And we're also not, so it used to be every month you'd have to upload a new 2151 with recommend sanction or no longer appropriate because every month they would refresh and they would need a new one for the previous month. For these two rows, they're going to stay in here until a new 2151A is uploaded with a different status. So you won't have to upload one every month for that customer if you're recommending sanction for them.
Woohoo!
Or if they're no longer appropriate, yeah. Yay! And then the other row that we need to keep an eye on is this completion status, completion documentation needed. We have 11 customers who have completed the program and are missing some form of documentation. It could be their employment information. It could be they just need a 2151A uploaded with complete marked. On the progress page in the completion information section, it will tell you in red text exactly what documentation needs uploaded for that customer. So we need to make sure we're getting this uploaded as quickly as possible. If you are having a problem with getting employment verification, just add a case note on the customer's page and let DHS know you're not able to obtain that information and you need their assistance in doing so. And then we also have another new row. It is right under that other row we went over. It's DHS, indicated SNAP ineligible, CBO action required. So what we did is we wanted to break out customers becoming ineligible into two different sections. Customers who become ineligible prior to attending their first orientation with you, which we indicate up here. And then we also wanted to know what customers became ineligible after they attended their orientation with the CBO and were enrolled. So we have 173 customers who have lost their eligibility after they were enrolled by the CBO or attended that orientation. So what you need to do with those customers is you need to go in and mark them as unsuccessfully completed, no longer SNAP eligible, and you'll use the date that DHS marked them no longer SNAP eligible, which you will find in the case notes. So all 173 customers in this row will need exited. If the customer gets their becomes eligible again and comes back to you in a couple months, they can pick up where they left off. You will just unexit them. You will unmark everything that you marked in the exiting, and they will pick up right where they left off. All their documentation, everything will be in there, and it will be the same for you guys.
Carmen, so that's a different. Carmen is asking the question. It's a different situation because these people that Olivia is talking about have not been ended. They're in the beginning phase of their process, and where your customers are being marked as ineligible because of employment, then those people are not moving on the dashboard because they're already in the green line under the hired by employer. So Olivia, do you want to go over again, when do these people show up in that DHS indicated SNAP ineligible? Are you talking?
Yeah, I was on mute. So these DHS indicated SNAP ineligible customers will show up after they have been enrolled by the CBO as long as they're not in any of these other sections. So,
so you're not helping them find the job. They're finding their own job, but just not telling you. So then DHS is marking them as ineligible because they're getting budgeted. Is that a correct statement, Carmen? Okay. All right. So, okay, so they're finding the job because you've helped them update whatever, maybe just not training or with training. Job search assistance with, okay. Olivia, I think we're going to need to talk to Carmen afterwards.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, let's move on.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go on to the Istep now. So there's just a few rows I want to point out. A lot of this you guys have already heard before, so I'll go through it quickly. But we have the target occupation not selected, and we have 163 customers in there who have been enrolled by the CBO and do not have a target occupation selected in their Istep. You guys do that on the career tab of the Istep. If you guys can all go in there, whoever has customers left in this row, and try to get that updated as soon as possible, that would be perfect. It's only 18% of our customers. It used to be like 60-something, so we've really done a good job getting that down. We just need to make sure we stay on top of it for all of our new customers that are continuing to come in. And then we also have 87 customers who have no steps identified in the career planning section. All customers should have some sort of step identified in this section. So we need to make sure we're going in and putting steps in for all of our customers in this section. Along with the academic and technical training section, we have 128 customers with no steps identified. Our pre-employment only customers will not have academic steps necessarily. So there might be a few customers in this row, but it definitely should not be 128. And Dee's going to do
But if they don't have any steps identified, they can be complete.
Yes. If they don't need any steps in a particular section, you can mark that section as complete. And then again, once they complete all the steps in that section, you can also mark it as complete. So do you guys have any questions on the Istep or Enrolled dashboard before we pause the recording and take a look at numbers?
As a reminder, again, if the customers are indicated SNAP ineligible, you go in and mark them as unsuccessful completion, and then the reason is customer is SNAP ineligible. And I just put that into the chat pod. And we will get new instructions out. We'll put the link in when we send the minutes out. All right. Do you have more dashboard to cover, Olivia?
Nope. That is all I had.
All right. So we're going to take your screen down a little bit and let everybody check in here while I'm opening up my screen. And so if you haven't already checked in, and while we're here right now, check in, please, if you haven't already. I'm still waiting to hear from a few of the Regions 2 through 5 agencies about the Springfield in-person training on May 31st, and it's going to be from 10 to 3, not 9:30 to 3:30. So if you got the email from Tammy and then the reminder from me and you have not responded yet, please let us know if you will be joining us in Springfield. Anybody from Chicago that's interested in coming down that couldn't go to one of the other ones is welcome to join us, and from 10 to 3 you might be able to get down and drive without having to spend the night. But we're happy to try and do a few things by webinar if we need to, if you were not able to attend. We do have the series, the last Optimal Resume webinar will be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We did 5 individual little webinars on each section since last Thursday, yesterday, today, and tomorrow are those webinars. They're all a little half hour. I think the longest one was 45 minutes. So if you did happen to miss the section on Optimal Resume, you got one more chance to watch one of the webinars tomorrow at 10 a.m. There is also recordings on our YouTube channel. So that is one of the pieces that we're covering and that we covered in the in-person trainings that we just had. Okay, what I'm going to do is go pull up my screen. And what I want to do right now is I want to walk through real quickly the staffing tool. And one of the things that I was at a couple of the CBOs this week, and we talked about the fact that we can backfill these staffing reports. So if you happen to have had to do your staffings before the staffing tool came online and you got training on it, you can still go back and complete them pretty quickly. Then you don't have to print them then. But it would be good to have them started so that if anybody needs to go back and look at the April staffing packets, then they're created instead of having to create them again or try to pull everything together. So what I did, I went to the reports, which is the little bar graph. I went to the staffing report. I'm logged in as a test for a safe haven. I'm going to pick my local office that I have some customers with. And I have one customer at Northwest. So I'm going to go to Northwest, and I'm going to filter by that customer. If the customer has a packet created or only a print 2151 only, then I can go in and pull in the 2151 document that should be there. I can click that and add that to the document. I take a look at the case notes. If I need to add or change anything, then I can update that. It takes it to a new screen, so I can go back to my staffing packet, and it's there. I can save and print the package. Then that package is ready to go. There are 5 steps total, and if you've already uploaded the 2151As and updated the I-step for each of the customers, then you are way ahead of the game. And since you already had to do your staffings in most cases, you can pretty much complete this fact-checking very quickly. You don't have to do the 4333s because you've already staffed. And then moving forward, then you've got April done. We're going to look here at our Telger because our Telger was started. And this is just to be able to show you the whole process. So you click on the Review I-Step Summary. It takes you to the customer summary in the I-Step. Then you can update anything in the I-Step that you need to do. And what's important about this is all of these pieces on the I-Step are how you guys get paid for your CBO benchmarks. And if you want to get those bonus points and all those good things, then you do need to make sure that your I-Steps are up to date and appropriate. So I'm going to come back to that and show you those steps. You can select a staffing report. So you just have to click in here, whatever the staffing report is, and this is based on the date of the staffing month through today. So whatever 2151A was your staffing report, then you would pick that document. If you pick the wrong one, you can go back in, pick the right one, and it will replace it. You can select any other documents. Also from that list, you can select more than one at this point in time. I'm not going to select any right now. Again, you can view the case notes, and if you do a really good once-a-month case note, you can go back and find that case note, which it looks like nobody put in a real status update for this customer, but you could copy that case note from here and paste it into this box right here. So once you save the package, then it's saved and anybody can print it. After the staffing, you would get a copy of the signed 4334 and upload that document here, and then mark whether DHS and or the CBO has signed that document, and then click Save, and that whole packet is in one piece. So that's, if you've got any questions about the staffing packets, we want to try to get all of the CBOs using this by next month so that it makes it easier for you guys, and hopefully we can pull DHS on board so that we can stop printing packets for DHS, because then they would be able to access the packets online and print them if they want them, or just download them and save them to the customer's file. Okay, that's it for the staffing packet. What I want to do is I want to go back to the Istep. Does anybody, before I move, does anybody have any questions about staffing that they want to ask? And yes, downstate offices, we would like you to try and do a staffing at least once a quarter with your DHS office, so that if there's any issues, then we can get those nipped in the bud before any problems arise, or maybe appeals are done to sanctions and then the sanctions don't take effect. We want to make sure that all this paperwork is going in properly. So on the Istep, we have these three areas. We have a timeline sheet, and this piece is included in the staffing packet. And when there are steps listed underneath these areas, then all of those steps and the information shows up in the staffing packet. So what we want to do is make sure that we're updating as we go. So for example, if this customer did not need any personal development, we would mark this customer as complete. And if they do end up needing additional assistance in that area, you can change it to on track and add steps. Under career planning, almost everybody is going to TABE test their customers, so add the step. And if the customer is only going to do work experience, they need to have 4 staff-assisted items. We're recommending the NOCD, we're recommending TABE test, we're recommending job retention, and we're also recommending up closer to the top, preparing your resume by using Optimal Resume, and then the Employment 101. Those are the ones that we are recommending. Now, we do have a worksheet, so from the Pilot Program EPIC resources, there is the worksheet here that is called Initial Customer Intake Worksheet. And that document looks like this. We covered this a couple of webinars ago, but you can put in dates and times. You can print off some of these and just use them as worksheets for you, and maybe you're lucky like Region 4 and have an assistant that can help you with some of the data entry. Then that way you can just click these things off and that person knows how to enter this information. And then it has on here all of the steps except for the NOCD. The NOCD was added after I created this sheet, and I just haven't gone in to make the change on that. But then just check off what are they going to be doing. And this can help you with their 2151A plan that you need to upload at the beginning of their time with you. So then as you add these steps, we're done adding steps at this moment. All you have to do is go in later and then say, when did they start? When was it open? When was it successfully completed? But at least this way you know what the customer is going to do. And then we always, 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 once you click that enroll, we want you to come to the Istep and edit their goals to include their pathway, and I'm guessing on what this one is, and what their target occupation is. You can find out from their application, what area that they were engaged in, or what their application said that they wanted to do. So I go back to their profile, and I look at their application to say manufacturing. Well, TDL was on his list. Okay, I was lucky there. But then you can go back to the Istep, add the academic steps, and the same thing. If you know what you are basically going to be doing for that customer, add the steps right away, and then that way your steps are all caught up. Clicking into the Istep and changing the target occupation and target pathway will open up the Istep for you so that your numbers should match from one area to the other. Alrighty, do we have any questions that I can answer for you about the Istep? And again, if you haven't already checked in, please check in now. All right, well, I don't see anybody typing any suggestions or questions or any of that kind of good. Oh, Kelsey's typing. Okay. Okay, so Alana typed, CBO and DHS have to work together to complete staffings. Yes, that is a true statement. Let us know as soon as you know about the eligible, ineligible. Yes, we will. And Anna Maria says, thanks. Well, thank you. All right. I don't see anything else right now, so we will end our call for today. We're only 3 minutes over right now. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I'm always happy to help. I hope to visit more of you in the next week or two to get out to the field. It's always fun to visit with you guys and help you by helping us answer questions for you. All right, everybody have a great day. I am going to be in touch with those Region 2 through 5 agencies who have not answered about the in-person training. So have a great rest of your day. You will be hearing from me very shortly.